I put all those tough questions to Christy. She's in the Weather Center tracking it all.
And the answers
no pressure.
It's
no
okay.
pressure.
The answers aren't that tough tonight because it didn't go a lot of places. So that limits what the answer is. Most of the moisture we saw out there today was in southeastern Arizona. It really struggled to get to the valley. Few raindrops here and there, but that was about it. One thing consistent across the state, though, gusty winds. Here's a look at those maximum gusts from earlier today. We were close to 40-mile-an-hour gusts in Bullhead City. Not far behind that, Kingman with 36-mile-an-hour gusts. Winslow, take a look at that. Over 45-mile-an-hour wind gusts there. And even here in the valley, Sky Harbor, we registered gusts that were over 25 miles an hour. So still some moisture out there tonight, but you'll notice that red flag warning that we previously had from Mojave County has now expired. All of this moisture moving to the north and to the west from Texas and, of course, just over that border from Mexico. Rain in the forecast at a different point in the week, so we'll talk more about that coming up a little bit later on into the show. Linda?
Sounds good. Thanks, Christy. Have you seen this amazing video taken on a challenging motorbike course?
The Young Sons at Summer League Sports Night. Get a jump on training camp tonight at 10:30.
Little rain in the desert never hurt anyone. Take a look at this spread, right? You think of the outdoors,
As the country faces challenge after challenge, the top job in the U.S. is, of course, up for grabs. Both parties say that they have the person who will fix things, and each side will get to make its case at its respective conventions. The Republicans get their chance starting tomorrow in Cleveland. Fox News correspondent Joel Waldman is there with the latest.
Tens of thousands of people are expected here this week to show their support for Donald Trump.
Larkin's love for horses.
Some of those flights a little bit delayed, but nothing more than about 20 minutes.
Sad anniversary today. It was 20 years ago that TWA Flight 800 crashed in the Atlantic Ocean. The Boeing 747 crashed into the ocean off the coast of Long Island, New York, shortly after taking off. It was July 17th of 1996. Now, the flight was going from Kennedy Airport to Rome. Investigators say it's likely an explosion of flammable fuel air vapors in a fuel tank that caused the plane to go down. All 230 people on board were killed in what ended up being the third deadliest aviation accident in U.S. territory. Now, if you've been in the Valley a long time, you will remember this name, Larkin Dwyer. She was 12 years old at the time, and she was on board Flight 800. She perished with everyone else. The New River girl was traveling to France alone to stay with a friend and her family. As a monument to Larkin, her family created the Larkin Dwyer Memorial Arena in New River.
A few sprinkles out there today for the valley, but that chance of rain not entirely out of the forecast. We'll take a look at the start of your work week and, of course, at the whole 10-day coming up right after the break.
I am humbled by your talent.
Exclusive AccuWeather forecast with Christy Siefkin on Fox 10 News.
Many of you here in the valley hoping to get rain today, saying, where is it? I didn't get any of it. Well, a few raindrops out there for a few people, but most of that moisture we saw today really in the southeastern section of the state, some of it right along that border between New Mexico and Arizona, a little bit farther to the north through Holbrook and even north of that. But we are still seeing a stream of moisture steadily making its way from Mexico into Arizona, but we're really going to be in a bit of a mild monsoon pattern. We're not going to see a big surge of moisture. That opportunity for rain and for thunderstorm activity limited, but what you will experience is that it feels a little bit stickier out there starting with tomorrow. Number wise, we're below the triple-digit mark in some of the lower desert locations tonight. Gila Bend, you're at 96, 95 for Casa Grande, close to 100 still though at Sky Harbor, and still at 100 for Lake Havasu and for Bullhead City. Winslow, a lot cooler there. We're looking at 67 degrees, 83 degrees right now for Globe. Across the valley, here's a quick look at those numbers. Below the century mark, really across the board tonight. In fact, 83 degrees right now for Globe. Across the valley, here's a quick mark, really just a little bit cooler than that. And this profile of moisture, it's really increased even since earlier this afternoon. The numbers that we saw through southern Arizona earlier this evening were in the 50s for the most part. We're finally starting to see some 60s up there. That moisture continuing to push to the middle of the state. Still relatively dry up in northern Arizona, but we in fact saw some 20s and 30s for dew point. So definitely a little bit moister there than what we saw before. Temperature profile, very different. Take a look at these comparisons yesterday to today the same time. 14 degrees cooler in Winslow and St. John's, 11 degrees cooler in Show Low. That largely because of some strong cells that we saw coming through. That rain cooling down the air as it came through. Slightly below average today temperature-wise, 105 what we hit this afternoon. Normal temp for today, 106. You'll notice that average temp for the season, it's starting to go down. Yay for that, although we've seen warmer temperatures certainly above average the past few days. Record for today, 116 degrees that we set back in 2005. Now, the national picture looks pretty quiet as you're looking at it now, but we're actually going to expect some pretty severe activity through parts of the upper plains. It's going to make its way through the Great Lakes region and then into tomorrow. This moisture making its way into the interior northeast. This cold front draped across this section of the country, bringing pockets of very heavy rain, gusty winds, potentially some hail out there as well. So very active storm pattern in comparison to what we're seeing here in Arizona. For tonight, numbers will range anywhere from low 80s in Yuma to upper 80s for Lake Havasu. We'll see 61 for Payson, 73 for Safford, about 69 for Sedona, 76 degrees for Page. And then for tomorrow, close to 110 for Lake Havasu and Yuma. It looks like we'll be at 110. For Bullhead City, it'll be nice and Show Low, 79 there, upper 90 Safford, 91 into Page, 78 for Flag, and then 87 degrees for Window Rock, 87 degrees as well for Nogales. As you take a look at your 10-day forecast, you'll notice that temperatures stay about at the seasonal norm for your Monday and your Tuesday. That's thanks to the cloud cover and that little bit of extra moisture. So these days will feel a little bit sticky. However, we'll start to see a little bit more clearance as we get into the middle and the end of your work week. Your Monday and Tuesday, though, we are keeping a slight chance of showers in the forecast. That is slight, 10 to 20% the afternoons and evenings. Higher terrain to the north and to the east of the valley. That's where we could see a little bit more activity. So the monsoon, we can't exactly call it the monsoon because we have seen a little bit of rain, but still pretty quiet out there.
Tell me the part again about how it could be 116.
That's true. I mentioned earlier tonight that record temp for today, 116. So it could be worse. Although, you know, a lot of you prefer that dry, hot weather. We're getting a little bit milder temperatures, but it's a little bit sticky.
Yeah,
so
it is.
I don't think that's the answer Linda wanted. But
hey, I'll take it. I'm still smiling. It is not 116.
And it's below average.
Yes.
We can actually, it's below average temperature-wise. How's that?
Okay, I'll hold on to that.
Stick with that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And people in the valley getting a reason to smile today as a local florist delivers more than 500 of these bouquets and arrangements to people in nursing homes. They have an annual Make Someone Smile Week, and this is the 16th year they've done it. These are their signature smile mugs. They say last year they delivered more than 20,000 floral arrangements, and more than 1,000 florists donated their time. Well done. Valley kids saving lives of shelter animals, all with just It's burned more than 11. Number is 480 witness.
A Valley family loses a son and brother last year when he was murdered. And now the victim's mother is speaking out. 39-year-old Joshua Bartley was sitting on a sidewalk after meeting some people he thought were friends. His mother says that out of nowhere, someone attacked him. A 59-year-old man who blew up his coworker's house in Nevada. He shot himself right before the explosions went off. The man living in Kingman at the time, Glenn Franklin Jones, drove to Nevada in a rental car to blow up that man's home. Police say they found homemade bombs and lots of explosives in his trailer home in Kingman. Fortunately, nobody was home, or nobody was hurt, I should say, in those blasts, but the house obviously was destroyed.
The Midgley Bridge in Sedona might be getting a barrier soon. Officials worrying apparently about the number of people jumping off that bridge. The Arizona Department of Transportation
Fox 10 Acura.
Today, Turkish President Recep Erdogan attended the funerals of some of those that were killed trying to defend him. He
ended the company's license, claiming they've received so many complaints.
As you can see on the inside, there's paint overspray.